Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and today I'm doing a no run-through review for Newleaf, which is one of the newest expansions to Everdell. Newleaf came as kind of a combo expansion with another one called Mistwood, which I'll have a review over that, so you can go check that out. And as with every other expansion that Everdell has, it adds a new section of the board, but this also added a few modular expansions that can be added in to just regular games of Everdell. You don't have to actually add in the new board. So let's go ahead and talk about the we'll talk about the main section of the board, and then I'll kind of mention those other modular expansions. And overall, I think Newleaf is a really good addition to Everdell. It adds something to the main board, and it like the other expansions, it doesn't overwhelm you with stuff, and that's one thing that Everdell has done phenomenally with all their expansions. I think Spirecrest might be their most complex, which is not even that complex in my opinion. But so Newleaf thematically is like having visitors coming to Everdell via a train system. So it adds 2 new locations, visitor cards, and then kind of a new section of where you can get cards. So let's go ahead and talk about the new locations. Well, I have the book here just so I can remember exactly what those locations are called. And they are called the station, and then the knoll, the grassy knoll. So the station is where you can go. Multiple people can go there, but you can only go there once with one worker. And it allows you to get visitors, and visitors are basically new ways to score victory points. They're kind of endgame conditions. Each visitor has something about them, an objective that you have to meet to score a certain amount of victory points. And whenever you go there, there's 2 face-up piles, and then you discard one, and then you pick one of the 2 remaining, and then you can have any number of visitors. And there's no negative repercussions if you don't complete. It's not like you get negative points if you don't complete what they want, because they're more than happy to still visit your town. And yeah, some of them are worth like 9 victory points, some are worth 6, which obviously means some objectives are easier to meet than others. And then on the train, you have these train tokens that are on there. There's about 3 of them, and you draw them from a bag, and there's 3 that sit out there. And they're basically more ways to generate resources. Some of them give you wood, some give you berries, points, stone, pretty much all the resources that are in the game. And so whenever you get a visitor, you also pick one of these tiles, and then you get that resource. So that's that location. The no location, it allows you to discard 3 meadow / station cards. And station cards are basically, it's another section of cards that are drawn from the main deck. So you know how you have the meadow in the middle of the board of 8 cards? Well, you have station cards of 3. There's no unique deck of station cards. It's all from that main central. But it's basically more options for whenever you're getting cards. So, because Newleaf comes with a pretty massive deck of new cards to add. And so I think they added that because if you only had the 8 available, you would never see like any of the cards, because like the main deck is about that big, and it goes up to about that, like whenever and that, I guess mine are sleeved, so it might look a lot bigger than it actually is. But if you've ever played anything of Everdell, you know that cycling through that deck is pretty important when you want certain cards. So the knoll allows you to discard 3 meadow / station cards, replenish, and then draw 3 between the 2. So it gives you some card draw and card advantage from the main sections. Overall, I think that the new board is really nice. Like having the separate station, because it's specifically called the station, you need things that can interact with specifically that. So the knoll, or there's a few cards and obviously in the new cards you add to the main deck that affect the station. Like there's the locomotive, which allows you go there, and it allows you to take a station card or play a station card for 3 less resources. So Again, I think they just have that station there to kind of just have more in the overall pool of cards. And also those train tiles that there are 3 of that you get whenever you go to the knoll also lets you take one. When you go to the knoll or the station, whenever you play, and you can play the station cards like normal, just straight out from, when they're available, like meadow cards, you take the associated train tile with it. So it's like, since there's 3 station cards, there's 3 train tiles of resources, and they're kind of paired. So if you build the top one, you get the resources from the train tile that's next to it. So what Newleaf does overall, and I'll kind of talk about the modular expansions as well, Newleaf kind of opens up Everdell a little bit more than kind of the other expansions did. And this is actually, I think, a very good thing, at least in the games that I've played of it, because Everdell was sometimes weirdly tight whenever it came to resources, and it was an efficiency, game where you were doing everything in your power to try and prolong each season. So you're trying to utilize your workers in smart ways that allow you to get resources to play cards, which then you can play other cards to keep your turn going, because you want to stay, for the most part, at least in my opinion, you want to stay behind everyone. You don't want to be preparing for a season quicker than everyone, because that just means you weren't as efficient as everyone else. And Newleaf allows that so much. I cannot tell you how many games I have played where I was able to optimize my turns as much as I was with this expansion. Like, it took me, it got to a point whenever I was in August that I was like, I think I'm done. Which luckily wasn't the case. Somehow they balanced it extremely well. But by summer, I was worried that whenever I got to August, I was like, oh, I'm getting these 2 new workers in. I have no cards left in my hand. My city's almost done. What am I going to do? Am I just going to straight up just pass in August? Which I didn't end up doing. I still actually ended up using all my workers and stuff. But they found a really neat way, because with the amount of resources you get and the open options of cards, that just allows you to create a lot more synergies with open cards. And because you can go and, hey, I'm just going to go to the station and get this villager that says, oh, you need 2 of every type of card in your city by the end of the game. That's 9 points. And, oh, okay, so since I got her, she's going to be here, and I'm going to take this tile that gets me the 1 stone I need, because the stone location is currently blocked. So I'm going to get that. And then now that I have a stone, I have these cards in my city, so now I can play all these cards. Like, it's kind of luck of the draw with the way my last game went, where it was just like, oh, all the cards in my hand, I can sequentially play. Oh, if I go there, that's going to give me the 1 resource, because I have these cards in my city, I'm going to get to play this, which then allows me to play this, and this, and this, and it just kind of cascaded like that. And that feels good. Newleaf, because even thematically, it's like, hey, like, there's a railroad, and now people can come in, which is, guests that are coming into the village or the city, and they're going to bring money, and they're going to bring stuff, so that just increases the economy and makes everything prosperous. It's very nice, and the fact of, because you need certain cards that let you draw from the meadow, like, you can't just reserve those easily, and going to the knoll allows you to do that. It allows you to be like, okay, no one's touching these cards, or a lot of people, oh, I can see that you could use this card, so I'm going to go to the knoll, get rid of it, and then replenish, so that I can then now draw 3 cards from the meadow and reserve those for a turn later on. And I just really enjoyed that. It was very nice, and the visitors they're just so, not necessarily easy, but they kind of are. Like, by the end of the game, you go into a village, or to the station, and getting a villager that says, oh, you need 5 production cards in your city. It's like, well, that's just almost naturally going to happen, and that's worth 5 points, so I'm just going to, hey, come visit my town. I like that. It's not, like, overpowered, like, because you can only go there once, pretty much per season, so you can really only get four villagers. It's not that busted in the fact that you go and you get rid of one. So if someone got like a person that's worth 9, then the 2 that are available are worth like 5, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go there and get rid of one and hope that there's a higher powered one or a more like one that has a higher victory point value. So it's a very, out of all the expansions, it's probably the simplest to add, like the new board, and I thought that was very pleasant. So that's the main section of the board. The cards that they add utilize the new occupation tokens, which I thought were really neat. In the regular game of Everdell, you have occupation tokens that are, hey, these constructions allow you to play critters for free, like a certain type of critter. Well, the Newleaf cards, you start with 3 golden occupation tokens. I think that's what they're called. That's what I'm going to call them anyway. Pretty sure they're just called golden occupation tokens. They are golden occupied tokens. And everyone starts with 3 of them, so they're not in like a general pool that you just take. And the Newleaf cards, some of the critters and some of the construction sites want you to use those, but you are only limited to 3. And these are very powerful. There are some Newleaf cards that are just like, hey, play any purple, I don't remember what the prosperity, I think is what those cards are called. Play any prosperity card. And it's like, those are typically one of the most expensive cards to get. So the fact that you can just use one of your 3 golden ones to just like play a really expensive card into your city, I think that's also really neat. Again, this expansion is kind of all about opening things up for players. You don't have to spend like hoard resources just to play one card, which has been like your entire game, just to get 6 points. It's kind of like, oh no, you got these 3, use them. And let me tell you, I used them. And some critters are like, hey, place one of your golden tickets on any red building. You just got to take up their occupied spot to play this. And they're effectively wilds, because a lot of the construction sites that use these just say, any progress building, you can just use this on, and just it allows you to play cards for free, which again just makes more sense for what this expansion is bringing. I think this expansion is wonderful. If you like the tighter aspect of Everdell, if you like that kind of grind or very methodical planning of kind of just, I need to do this, and this to be able to play this one card, then you might not like this expansion because it just opens everything up. So the 2 modules that it adds are tickets and a reservation token. The reservation token is everyone gets 1, and it allows you, it's a new action that you can get, and you flip it, and it lets you take a card from the meadow or the station and put it under it. And now, with that reservation token, it makes that card cost 1 less. It's very simple to add, doesn't need the overall expansion to be added. Like, you don't need the new board or anything, so I thought this was also nice because you don't need something that specifically allows you to draw from the meadow or anything, and if you really want something but you don't quite have the thing to play it, or you don't have the resources to play it, well, you can just, take the reservation token, flip it, and grab the card and put it underneath, and now it costs 1 less. 1 resource less. And what's also neat is that reservation token is used each season, so it's not like a once per game thing. It's like, okay, when you prepare for a season, if you still have a card left, well, you can discard the card, then you have the token back, or if you did end up playing the card underneath it, then you get your reservation token back, so you can use it each season. So I thought that was very nice too. And then the ticket, which again is all about what Newleaf is doing to the game. The ticket, you get 2 uses out of it. You get 1 use up until summer, and then you get another use from summer till the end of the game. Or if you don't use it at all, you can use it twice from summer till, August. And you can spend the ticket to move your worker from one location to another location. They're extremely simple modules, but they open up the game so much. 1, the reservation token lets you, hoard a card pretty much, and the reservation token means that you can utilize your workers a lot more because, again, the game gets a lot more open as the game goes on because you only start with 2 workers and by the end you have 6. So with this, it's like, oh, okay, well, I want to go here to get a stone, and now I'm going to use, on my next turn, I'm going to use my ticket that allows me to move a worker, and now I can go here to get wood, or whatever you want it to be. It just allows you to, have some more freedom with your workers. So that's what Newleaf brings. I very much like it. It was just so pleasant to be able to be like, oh man, I don't have to worry about, like, anything. I mean, you do. You still have to be efficient, but it allows everyone to kind of almost get what they want, or at least you're a lot more methodical about where you're going to go first because you know other people can get stuff just as easy as you can. So it becomes a more player race than just like turn order based where it's like, oh man, lucky me, I'm going to go to the one spot that lets me get this. And because we're all kind of stuck in this very strict regime of resources, that it's like people don't have to like prepare ahead of you to go out and get a certain resource when they can just be like, oh, I'm gonna go to the station, get this visitor, and look, I'm gonna get that resource that you just blocked me from. And the cards are really cool too, like the cards that they add to the game. Like there's one called Main Road. It costs 1 stone. Unless you reserve it, then it's free. And it just adds 1 extra slot to your town. And I know there are a few cards that do that, so it's instead of the 15, it's like, oh, hey, you can have 16. I just thought it was really cool. Everything they added here was just very nice. If you, again, don't like the fact that this expansion is going to open up the game a lot more, then this isn't going to be for you. Personally, I probably would always add this. Like, I think this is one of the stronger expansions. If I were kind of like, I haven't, like Miss Woods is kind of its own, like solo thing. That's like the primary, like shtick of that expansion. So in the multiplayer game of expansions, I think that it would probably go, Spirecrest, then maybe Newleaf, then, Belfair, and then Pearlbrook. So I very much enjoy this. This expansion is going to get an 8 out of 10 for me. So that's it, everyone. That's my thoughts on Newleaf. Let me know what you think of the expansion in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.